102K BTC. Is this DeepSeek news over? Is the FUD over? Is it the FOMC next that we need to worry about? So guys, we're going to talk about this DeepSeek in detail now today. We're going to break down what is going on. We're going to look at a few tokens that may be affected by the current situation. Then we've got FOMC tomorrow. What are we going to do with the alts? What is my strategy? I'm giving it all to you guys. We've got tons to talk about here. Let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit those likes, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, just like the guys are saying here in the chats. They're saying smash those likes. So Son, he's all over this at the moment. And James is sitting here. He might have a couple of things for us, our fundamentals man. And look at that smile. I mean, it must be XRP because it's pumping again. We've got news on that. So we'll talk to him about that in a second. Let's go Banter Bubbles. Let's break this thing down. Pengu, no surprise. It was pumping the other day, minus 25%. No surprises there. Virtual, is this a recipient of some of the pain at the moment? Tindo, the African degen. Bro, hang around, bro. I got something for you today. Okay, make sure you are watching. Virtual, is this a recipient of the DeepSeek news? You know, is that still going to play out in these AI agents? Did people just realize that these AI agents are maybe a little bit overpriced at the moment? So my virtual trade is really just sitting around at the moment at that 2 region. We'll have to see how that is going to play out for us. But maybe, you know, the signs are there that some of these AI agents are slowing down a little bit. Now, Trump is up 6%. Okay, interesting. And Move, look at that, 14%. I've got this Move chart for you. The Trump World Liberty Foundation have now purchased some of this Move. So there was a nice reaction. Is that a possible short coming up for us? So we're going to look at that one as well. Let's jump into a couple of things. Let's go BTC. So overall, a pretty quiet day so far. If you look at the chop on the 2-hour, not much has been going down. And any of the high leverage guys, I'm talking about the degens, look at this 2-hour candle here, the way they've chopped us around there. So the guys would have been taken out, the high leverage ones. And these are the levels that I gave to the hackers crew earlier today, and no real changes. So far, all we've done here is reject off our VWAP from the highs on the 20th of January and our horizontals. So we know 103,800. That is our current resistance. That ties in with the 104K level. That is a big zone for us on BTC. So first level pinged that I was watching today. Then a couple of interesting zones to the upside. If we do get a little bit of energy, 105,270 is on the table for me. And then a final push there. I would say if we go in a straight line, well, I would expect a rejection there at that 107 region. So that is what we're looking at to the upside. Now, what do we do to the downside, considering that we've had a monster sell-off in the last couple of days? This DeepSeek news really shook the market. Nvidia got absolutely hammered. I see there is a slight recovery today from Nvidia and the S&P 500. But what do we do now leading into the FOMC? We know that there's no expectation on doing anything with the rates at the moment, but I think the market is anticipating either a more dovish approach in the new Trump government or, a hawkish approach which could shock us even more. So strategy at the moment for me, and it's always the same game plan that I like to do. I like to watch the charts, and if we get a pump into the FOMC, that is normally an opportunity to sell. And if we get a sell-off into the FOMC, that is normally an opportunity to start looking for buyers. So right now for me, I don't have bias either way. All I can say is I'm going to be reactive to what the market gives me. And, we're sitting in a couple of hedge shorts. Some of them I showed you yesterday. And then we're sitting in a couple of longs because we might get a little bit of action leading into tomorrow. So in terms of downside, I'm not expecting a major flush out before the FOMC. So I would expect the alts, a lot of the alts and BTC to at least hold the lows. But in terms of interesting levels for us, 101,100, that makes sense to me. That's also my VWAP just bringing up the rear there, just under 101K. So that is an interesting zone. And then anything from, now this is a tricky one, anything from 99,800 down to that 50-day moving average at 98,900. That is a very interesting region there for us. We've got a lot of support there if there is a bit of a sell-off. Now, Mohammed is saying FOMC is here to rescue. Guys, I mean, James had an interesting comment offline, actually, and he said, we know they operate as an independent. We know that, the Federal Reserve, but maybe there's a little bit of pressure to just be a little bit softer, or maybe some kind of surprise rate cut, Mr. Tinfoil Hat. Sir, what are you thinking?
Well, that's just it. Market has, yesterday, the market had factored in 95% there'd be no rate cuts. Today, it's 100%. So everyone's convinced that that's not happening. The economic metrics say that we should not. And bring on Mr. XRP, I see.
There you go.
But I got a feeling Trump is going to do everything in his power to put pressure where he can. It is independent. He has no jurisdiction, but he wants this economy to boom. He wants to say, look what I did. I came in, I fixed the economy. Everything's amazing. It's all me. You missed 4 years of this. This would have happened, blah, blah, blah. And so cool. I wouldn't be surprised with a surprise rate cut. Can't count on it whatsoever, but I won't be shocked if we see something, or at least some really dovish tone from Powell.
Dovish tone. That is really, I mean, that could be the one. So even if they don't cut rates, if Powell comes out like quite soft, I think, and we see a dip leading into that, guys, I really think we're going to have a bit of a pump there if we get weakness into that. So that is what I want to cover you guys with today. I've got some setups for you that we can deal with some of that weakness on the table. Okay, Robin says big dump coming. Well, if it's coming, I've got you covered on Render. I've got you covered on Near. I've got you covered on a couple of tokens that we're going to bang out some of these levels. Can we talk about why WIF is so dog shit? Homo Ludens, I agree, bro. Absolute dog shit. And we might be picking that thing up at 1. We might be picking that thing up just below $1. So just keep watching. And I mean, we'll tackle some WIF tomorrow. Now, guys, just a reminder, I want to do that giveaway today. Now, we had a nice long trade. We had a nice short trade on the S&P 500. So I'm going to do a $500 giveaway for 5 people today. So it's $100 for $100 each for 5 people. Okay, this is what we're doing. And Tindo, you number 6. Okay, Tindo, the African degen, is the 6th recipient of a giveaway. So this is what we're doing. James, just correct me if I get this wrong. So this is what we do. You need to be an existing member of Hackers or a new member of Hackers. If that is happening, you are halfway there. Then you need to have traded on Prime XBT, and I'm talking 5 trades. If you've taken 5 trades on Prime XBT using my link, okay, then you are qualified for $100 from me. Now, it's only available for the first 5. Okay, so you got to be fast. So if you're a Hackers member, you got to show your membership. You've got to show your Prime XBT account to the Banter recipient of the email. Show them you've taken 5 trades on Prime XBT, and the first 5 that do that, I'm sending you $100 on your Prime XBT, so you can long and short to your heart's content. So email giveaways@cryptobanter.com. James, please put that in the chat there for me. Giveaways@cryptobanter.com. The first 5 that do that for me, that qualify. Remember, you got to be part of Hackers or newly in Hackers. It doesn't matter if you're already a Hackers member and you're trading on Prime XBT. 5 trades, then we go. Okay, simple as that. And we're going to send you each $100, the first 5, and then Tindo, I'm sending you $100, bro. And you just email giveaways@cryptobanter.com. Tindo, do that for me. Okay, then you are good. Okay, let's go. Let's go get into some of the news. Now, this is how I'm feeling. And, I miss her. I miss the green candles. It feels like we are just getting punched drunk here. We're getting slapped around at the moment, and the pain just doesn't want to relent. And now Ben Cowan really summed this up so nicely yesterday. He says the president launches a meme coin. That's number 1 warning bell. Prior BTC maxis were launching meme coins, talking about alts in a strategic reserve. Sometimes we lose our way and the market punishes us. Was everybody just getting a little bit too excited there? Were we getting a little bit too euphoric? Now, we have covered the FOMC, and Mr. Crypto just saying next FOMC meeting, no rate cut expected. The market is only pricing in 1 rate cut for 2025. Now, I remember in December, we had a bit of a pump after there was, a slight inclination for one of the speakers who was suggesting that we might get more than that. So this is going to be interesting, and that is why the press conference afterwards is going to be so important. And I'm going to be streaming that FOMC live for you guys as well. So I'm going to do my normal show on Banter Plus tomorrow, then on Crypto Live, which is our other channel. I'll let you obviously know about the links and things tomorrow, but I'm going to be streaming this FOMC, and we're going to see if these 15-minute candles are going to start talking to us. There won't be much macro bull until the Fed starts QE. I concur. We're going to have to see what comes out next. Now, let's finish on this DeepSeek. Can we be done with DeepSeek after today? Okay, DeepSeek valuation, $150 million. Market cap wiped out from the US stock market $2 trillion. Market cap wiped out from the crypto market, $300 billion. Now, one app with $150 million valuation has wiped out $2 trillion from the stock and the crypto market. That is called winning. Okay, if you are that small DeepSeek company, I mean, what an absolute result for you guys. Now, there was speculation yesterday. One of the CEOs, I think it was from Scale or one of those projects, was saying or suggesting that DeepSeek were actually using Nvidia's chips. They're just not allowed to, so they had to keep it secret. And somebody here, Adam 𝗚𝗢𝗟, now I don't know if this is true or not, but he's basically asked DeepSeek itself. He says, does DeepSeek use H100 chips? And DeepSeek has replied saying, yes, we do. We use the H100 Tensor Core GPU. So, I mean, that is funny, okay? I don't know if it's true. We'll have to see. Melba says he's sick of DeepSeek already. Guys, I'm sick of DeepSeek, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of talking about DeepSeek. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This was the Nvidia top. I mean, I have to agree. I mean, the guy was getting too bullish. He had his leather jacket on. You know, he was feeling good. He was signing the boobs. And, you know, he was just a little bit too bullish with those vibes. Okay, so maybe that was the top Nvidia. And, you know, Nancy has a history of calling the top of things and calling the bottoms. And Nancy sold $1.3 million of Nvidia stock last month. So a 17% drop, you know, yesterday. So, yeah, good sell. Good sell. Did she know something? Well, who knows? If you look at the chart, it did go up a little bit before it fell over. So we're not going to say she actually knew what was going on. But in terms of Nvidia, look, it remains to be seen if this is a real recovery now or not. And the market needs to reprice this thing and actually just look at this and decide, you know, is there an angle for Nvidia to really start playing this DeepSeek into their favor? Does that open up more sales opportunities for them, or are they absolutely wrecked? So the market's going to have to figure that one out. But for now, I think it made sense that we get some kind of dead cat bounce at our 200-day moving average. So here it is. You can see we are trying to push back above the 200-day MA. This is obviously going to be important. And obviously for the stock traders, they really do watch this 200-day MA a lot. So you really want the Nvidia to close above that 200-day MA. So a daily close at about 122, 123 might put it back in the picture for a nice long to start closing the gap up to around 140. So that would have been, okay, a bit of a knee jerk. Now we can go and fill that gap and then maybe a little bit of downside while everyone digests what is going on. Matt says he only leveraged the likes when Dylan wears the V-neck. Guys, I'll bring that out. I'm just waiting for the green candles. Apologies. We need these green candles first. So that is the Nvidia situation. Now, how's the S&P responded? Pretty well, I would say. And some might call this a typical trend break and retest. Look at that. Trend break, retest, pump. So things are okay from the S&P's front, and 5,980 is going to be our support marker that we're going to watch. So nothing to really be too concerned about there. We'll keep our eyes on this tomorrow, leading into that FOMC. And the 𝗬𝗢𝗟 letter, look, this is a lot of reading, but they've given you a breakdown as to the real explanation as to why Nvidia crashed yesterday. Okay, so take a look. Nvidia also had a couple of comments around it, and you know, they actually called it an excellent AI advantage. So they don't appear, you know, on the outset to be too upset about it, and maybe there is something that they can start doing there. So follow the 𝗬𝗢𝗟 letter if you're not already. I use them a lot, and you can read about their views on Nvidia and DeepSeek. So that is it. I'm done with DeepSeek. Oh, well, I've got a couple of tokens for you on DeepSeek, but then we'll be done with DeepSeek. I'm talking 𝗬𝗪 because that thing is immune to DeepSeek. We're talking Render because it might not be, and I've got a banging level for you guys on Render. So a couple of others as well. Ben Cowan, he's given us two bits of depressing news today. And I just thought, let's get it out of the way before the FOMC, because it would be great if we start dumping and we could say, well, Ben Cowan actually called this. So interestingly, the year 2017 correction took BTC back down to the 2016 high. If 2025 is like 2017, maybe it retests the 24 high around 73K. I want to almost vomit a little bit in my mouth there when he says that. And to be fair, on the daily chart, that is a beautiful retest if we actually do that. So let's just take a quick squiz at this before I bring you the next bit of doom and gloom from Ben Cowan. So if we go to our daily chart, you can see here's our 72 level. This would be, I mean, we can't be bearish if we dip into that zone. And a reminder, if this was 15-minute candles, we'd say easy days. This is a beautiful long for us from here. It's just because we're trading the dailies and we're impatient and we're trading leverage that this looks like an absolute disaster. But if this played out on a 15-minute time frame, we'd be super happy and we'd be waiting for those entries. So let's not write that off, okay? If we have to follow what typical charts do, at some point they come back and test major horizontals, and this is an untested major horizontal. So only a matter of time. It might not happen now, but it's going to happen. At some point, we're coming back down there. Tickle Dylan's like switch. Chaos. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying the show and you're enjoying the content, hit the like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and make sure you are subscribed. And let's continue the news. Okay, let's go. Rec Capital. Now, this is the bull source. Can you see? I'm mixing it up for you guys. I really want you to have a mix of both worlds here. Rec Capital says 8 out of the last 12 Februaries, dating back to 2013, have produced double-digit upside. Okay, so there you go. There's bull source. Look at that. 43, flat, 12, 36, 11, 23, 20, 18, 61. I'd be very happy with a 36%, 20%, 18%. I'd be super happy with that leading into Feb. So that is around the corner. And that, a bullish Feb might tie in with quite a nice FOMC. Maybe the market could start kicking off and start sending us. So something to watch, guys. There's a little bit of bull sorts for you. History doesn't lie, okay? It's there. So that is that. So let's go dominance now. There's important developments for me on a couple of things. Now, dominance, we can see we might have one more push into our initial target. This was our target that we earmarked back in the day. I mean, this was middle of January. We were looking for that bounce into this region. Perfect situation for us. We fill this wick now, and then we send it back down. So that tells me short to dip in altcoins. That tells me altcoins hold their lows if we push into the 60% zone. Problem comes if we push into that next big rejection zone, and I'm talking 61.5%. That is going to send alts to next levels. That is where you're going to fetch near at 3.6. That is where you're going to fetch bonk at some strange levels. You're going to be fetching with probably at sub 90, somewhere around there if we do get that push. So just be ready and prepped. And I'm going to be sweating bullets on Brett. Okay, so you can imagine how deep they're going to send Brett if we get that push to 61.5. So ideal scenario for me, push into this 59.6 region leading into FOMC, give the alts a little sweat out, then we can get a nice bounce. We'll call it a double bottom on the alts. Some will hold higher lows, and we'll say, what a beautiful little trade into FOMC. So that is the idea. Trovius is in the house. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Okay, so that is dominance. Now, two interesting things for me. Total 3 and USDT dominance both have interesting candle daily closes. USDT closed under the 50-day MA. So that is interesting for us. As long as we can keep these candle closes under this 50-day MA, we could say there is a short-term move here on the alts again and on the market as a whole, and that could be a little bit bullish for us. So that is nice. Look at that rejection candle off that USDT dominance daily. So that's pretty decent for us, and we had the close under, so that's a nice start. Then look at total 3. This is total 3 on the 12-hour. Let's actually go to the daily and take a look here. You can see we had a candle close above the 50-day MA. So that is also interesting. We got dominance below, total 3 above. That could be a sign, maybe one more sweat out here, and then we start pushing on that FOMC. So that is what I'm holding on to. And then I want to give you one tiny drop of bull source here. If we look at total 3 on the 12-hour, you can see it's actually printing quite a lot of bullish divergence here. Look at that. Lots of printing here and a nice reversal potentially on the table for us. So a little bit of bull source there for us on total 3. Let's see if we can hold into FOMC tomorrow. Now let's talk one of the most boring trades in history. Trump-backed World Liberty Financial bought another 3,000 ETH. Okay, another 10 million. Whenever there's a dip, they go ka-ching and they buy some more. Now, these guys are in government now, and they're buying this stuff. Like, obviously, they know something we don't. If we're not buying ETH, and the leader, what do we call him? The leader of the free world is buying ETH. Okay, I mean, here we go. So don't look too far. Don't look past ETH, but unless you Ben Cowan. I mean, Ben Cowan doesn't give rocks. He doesn't give rocks about anything bullish. I mean, I love this man's tweets. Look at this thing. He's basically long and the short of this tweet. He says one risk for ETH. If the Fed comes out this week and says no QE, maybe that would cause ETH to finally go home. Now, home is not a good place. When somebody says they want the altcoin to go home, it's not a good sign. And he's saying it wants to go home to its USD pair, leading the Fed to reverse course in March 25, causing a quick recovery. So he's almost suggesting here that February could be quite ugly for us. Okay, Philippe, my road does feel dead, bro. All of these memes feel totally fucked, bro. It's been a long road on some of these memes. Now, if 𝗫𝗗𝗏𝗟𝗔𝗡𝗥, if his view comes into play here, this is not a good look. Can you see? He's pointed his arrow down to probably about $900 for ETH, $1,000 for ETH. Now, I don't want to know what the rest of the market looks like. I saw your eyes pop up there.
Yeah, if that happens with ETH, I'm done. I'm leaving. I quit. The market, all the other charts are negative.
Guys, whew. Okay, so that's what he's put on the table. I'm just sprinkling it here for you guys, just in case. Okay, just in case. I mean, yes, I think we will all throw up a little bit. Okay, so again, this brings me to another potential opportunity here. If we get a pump into FOMC, okay, maybe just open some shorts, because you never know. That could be the start of the move for ETH down to 900. Okay, you can tell your grandkids that story, how you shorted ETH to 900. So pumps into FOMC, maybe not a bad bet to look for some shorts at some big areas, some nice juicy zones. So I want to just plant that seed for you guys as an option. Oh, look at this. They're sending us to hell as we speak. But here's ETH. So current situation, if we take into account the dominance chart that I've just shown you, the USDT dominance as well, what we want to see here, if those 50-day MAs are going to play out for us, then we ideally just want to see ETH hold that 3,000 level. So we'll keep it super simple there on ETH, and that should give us our move into FOMC, and that could give us a nice little pump. So that is the dream scenario. Now, I would expect ETH to lose a major level like this only on super bearish FOMC talk, or maybe the market doesn't get what they want. Then we lose that big level, and then we are in 2827. Then we are in the hell zone. Okay, so I'm not expecting anything before FOMC. It would be pretty weird if we drop before, but if we do drop before, and I'm talking 2827, guys, well, fuck me. You got to start pushing buttons. Okay, and then I would expect there to be some kind of market savior coming out, because if ETH is dropping to 2827, we know the S&P is also going to be falling over simultaneously. That thing is going to be feeling a little bit of pressure. So for me, my strategy, not expecting a massive level to be broken until the FOMC event. In between, yes, a little bit of action in between these zones. Now, let's say there is a mega pump into FOMC. Where are you going to look for your ultimate short? Well, in the first zone, you can see that 100-day, so 3,280. And then the big zone for me is going to be 3,500. So if you get that pump, that's a potential short zone there for you. So 3,280 and 3,500. Those are your ETH potential short zones leading in to FOMC. So could we make a really good hedge plays here as well? James says, listen closely. What are we talking about? Trump waging economic war on us while putting America's worth on the chain. We can manipulate. Go Barron. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Political talk in the chats. And JB says, I'll meet 𝗫𝗗𝗏𝗟𝗡 in the depths of hell. Okay, let's see. James has got a whole speech going on there in the chats. And Shakespeare's pipe saying, Theta, please, bro. Guys, we'll cover Theta. I can't cover it all the time, but I know you love that Theta token. Now, let's talk Peppy, okay? Because there's bullish and bearish views on this at the moment. So first things first, Plasma says every time ETH touches 4K, so far that looks miles away, Peppy makes a new all-time high. Cool. What happens when ETH breaks 4K or 5K to make a new all-time high? I think we know all ETH players absolutely melt faces when that happens. Okay, so we know that. Okay, that's super bullish for Peppy. Cool. But Look On Chain has pointed out that a couple of whales sold off their entire Peppy holdings. Now, it's not that much in the context of Peppy's entire market cap, but 6 million, 5 million, 2.8, 2 million. Maybe these guys know a little bit things. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they just want to bank some profits or whatever. And also, it doesn't mean they can't come and buy back. If they're selling 6 million, they might come back and buy some more. Maybe they're expecting lower. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But it is interesting that a group of wallets now have sold this amount of Peppy. It's a fairly big amount there. So what does that mean for us as, peppy dreamers, peppy wannabes, peppy guys that, we bullish on this thing? What does it mean for us? So this was the strategy yesterday. And we were saying, ideally you want to hold that double bottom. That is going to be your most bullish scenario there for us. And we are very close on the 12 hour. So a lot of this is going to come down to this FOMC. How deep can they bleed us leading into it? And if that is the case, where can we watch this peppy, knowing full well that we are very close to reversals? You can see these types of things have resulted in moves to the upside, even small ones back in the day. So we know we are super close on the 12 hour to some kind of upside. So for me, if they are going to dump us and they're going to dump it hard, it's a tricky one. Okay, but we know we are close to the reversal. So for me, any bleed outs on these tokens leading into FOMC, I'm going to be looking for longs on some good zones. Now, let's just analyze this. For the first zone here that we can go as deep into is, okay, I don't want to go much lower than 119 to about 118. Okay, you don't want to go much deeper than that. If we start sweating more, we've got to keep in mind that this 12 hour is getting super reset, but it's not going to be pretty if you're trying to pile into leverage here and you suddenly start dripping into this double one. You can see there's a pivot level here and then our 786 at 107. So things are tricky here for Peppy. Now we really got to see how this plays out. But for me, that would be first prize. So any dips into 12, 119, that for me, first prize. Next level, well, we're going to start looking in that whole region, and it's going to be anything from 111 down to 107 is going to be your next area of interest. You can see we've got liquidity down there as well for us. So that is going to be an interesting zone. And I do expect by the time that happens, this reversal is really starting to be or get underway. And then it's going to be time for a bigger move. And you're probably going to find, if there is a sell-off, you're going to be tracking your 1 hour oscillator. Look at that. And you want to make sure that 1 hour is bottoming out. You want to make sure that 1 hour is starting to turn over. Okay, you want to see that 1 hour reversing for you on a nice level, and that is going to give you a sign that we could get some kind of reversal. You can see last time that did happen there when we dropped into that region. So looking for something along those lines. So keep your eyes on the oscillators. Obviously, you can also use a regular RSI if you want to. I'm obviously using the chart prime oscillator, which it's the absolute best. Okay, it's like it's the Ferrari of oscillators, and that is why I've used it in my accelerator course. And you can obviously find the accelerator course and all these things that I talk about over here. You can find it in the show description. If you want to sign up for it, here it is. Go into more under the show description, sign up for the trading accelerator. It's short 10 days videos. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll have a full understanding of everything I do and explanations on chart prime, the oscillator, how you look for entries, all those fun things. And then you'll be able to participate in the masterclass as well. And we had our first masterclass yesterday, 2 days ago, yesterday. And the next one is coming up next Monday. And I'm going to be tackling things like advanced leverage for you guys. So if you're interested, jump in there and do the course, and you'll understand, unlock your trading potential there with me. Now, Peppy, those are our downside levels. Now, you can see this thing has been absolutely abused to the downside, and at some point we do get a snapback bounce, and we are going to make money to the upside. The goal now is to preserve capital because we know we've got a move coming. So let's make sure we can survive. So if you are trying things, low leverage, nibble in the areas, you will know when the momentum is coming back. You will see it in the charts. You will see things. We'll be screaming. We'll be hitting the bullhorn. And then you can start adding to your momentum plays, and you can start buying some more on the way up. But what you want to do, your first job here, is to snag some kind of good entry leading into FOMC if we get a sell-off. And those are the levels. Remember, all these charts go straight into Chart Hackers immediately after the show. So you'll be able to look at them at your leisure. And obviously, watch the show for context because, sometimes I'm explaining a few things. This is how I'm feeling about my current Brett trade. And looking at Ben Cowan's tweet about ETH going to $1,000 and things like that. I mean, I don't know how deep I can take this Brett at the moment. And that is why... Let's bullhorn the Brett.
Yeah, please. There's so much despair in the chat. Maybe you could do that 2 or 3 times. People are getting a little down and out here. Guys, just remember though, when everybody feels like this, everybody's capitulating. The charts look like shit. This is when we get a mega bounce. Just remember that.
Just hang in there. Guys. I mean, you've watched me for long enough. Okay, okay, just hang in there. It is on its way, but this is how it feels sometimes. Now, this is the last of my big conviction trades that are sitting underwater, this Brett situation, and I'm feeling like this guy. It's not a loss if you never sell, but how much can you take? How much can you handle as a leverage trader? So that is why I've been riding these Brett hedge shorts on the way down. So my long is disgusting, okay, but at least we're making money when we get pumps on Brett into good areas and we make sure that we are hedging. So just in terms of what is going on here, you can see the Brett short and the render short from yesterday. Those are now green, okay? But again, we're in a situation where it's hurry up and wait for the market to do something here. So just positioning myself under some big zones in case we get that sell-off, and just being ready on a couple of longs in case we get a push. You can see there's a 𝗬𝗧 position here at the bottom that is $27,000. That is a breakout trade that is ready to go. I dropped it in Hackers earlier today, and that is now a speculative breakout trade. So let's jump into a couple of things. Let's talk 𝗬𝗧. And understand, yesterday I did cover this guy. Arctic Trading, I'm long Ondo there, okay? And there was a hedge short on Ondo. The reason being, we're going to talk about it now, but it rejected off the VWAP there, bang. Okay, so just a small hedge short there, nothing substantial. Okay, look at that, it's in the VWAP there, so nothing, nothing to get too stressed about there. Okay, bullish 𝗙𝗓𝗟𝗡𝗙 is hung over, bro. Well, let me cure you, hopefully, with a 𝗬𝗧 long that doesn't send you to zero. Now, 𝗬𝗧 is the first one that we spoke about yesterday. Remember, you heard it here first. We are DeepSeek free, okay, or not free, but they integrate. Okay, so DeepSeek works with them. Now, we know there was bullish news about 𝗬𝗧 on the weekend. That's what's happening in the next 12 days, something like a mainnet or some news coming out. Fundamental guys would obviously love it, but they are integrated with DeepSeek. And then 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗏 was speaking about DeepSeek integrations in 𝗫𝗙. The last 24 hours have literally been about DeepSeek and the massive impact it will have on the AI landscape. 𝗬𝗧 is first on his list there. Okay, Akash, you can see there, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 projects do not have DeepSeek integrated into their platforms. They might in the future. Render, okay, Render is not in that at the moment. So I'm talking about Render as well, and that was it's topical because we looked at that Render short yesterday as well. So let's go 𝗬𝗧. Let's understand what is going on. Bigger picture 𝗬𝗧. Daily looks bullish. Look at this daily oscillator. We got that double bottom. It's a really nice look for us. So the question is, now we know a daily oscillator can be super volatile in terms of price action. So you could easily see a 5 or 10% dip on 𝗬𝗧. So I don't want to say that the breakout trade I'm going to give you is the be-all and end-all, but what we can see is daily is actually quite bullish. And the last time the daily turned nice and green like that, we had quite a strong move on 𝗬𝗧. So looking for that to potentially play out, but we do have trouble in the way. You can see our danger zones, 480, big area, 495, big zone, 510, big zone. So it's not going to be easy. Okay, it's not going to be a smooth ride for us. But here is the play, and this is why it caught my attention. So again, this is a speculative play. If we start running into FOMC, well, I want a piece of that, okay? And there was a simple 𝗬𝗧 breakout trade here. It popped the 200-day moving average. So you can see what happened here. There was a lot of consolidation in this range. Look at that beautiful range here. And what happened here? It just started popping above that 200-day MA. We've now broken the previous range high. So all we want to see now is a successful retest. So we're happy if they want to dip it back a little bit, and we want the bulls to start stepping in. So for me, your first potential exit plan is going to be a candle close under 440. So if they bring it back and they don't bounce it before that region, candle close under 443 is going to be your first potential exit plan. You can see this is a simple trend break. Okay, we're looking for a simple breakout play and retest. Then you've got your next exit plan, 433. That is your next sort of degen exit zone if you close under that. And then ultimately the big one that I'm riding at the moment is going to be a close under 420, call it 426. If the candle closes under 426, then we most likely coming back down. So speculative play, guys, not big stuff. Don't be crazy. Okay, we've got the FOMC here. The market doesn't go away. The market is here. after the FOMC, the market is here. You don't have to get caught in the chop. If you're not feeling right about it, don't do anything. Okay. And AV says bear moon today. We actually need to check our bear moons out. We know that statistically they do relatively well. So let's go render, because you saw in that tweet that was something interesting here for me. And Adam says don't do 200x. I concur. 200x is not a good vibe. If the price drops what 0.2%, you get rinsed. Okay, don't do that. It's not smart. Okay, it's not smart. He says don't do 200x. Yes, I thought he was doing 200x. Okay, let's go render. So look, the tweet is interesting. The tweet says these projects currently do not have DeepSeek integrated, but they might in the future. Okay, but I mean, what does that tell us? We've seen Render has been selling off today. Now, just to recap what happened with Render, a typical hedge short play that you can look for. Look what we've lost. We lost the 200-day MA, then we pushed back to test, and now we are sending it a little bit lower down. So quite a classic setup here on Render, and a classic short setup that is now playing out. But how deep is it going to go? So what I want to prep you guys for, if we get a sell-off into FOMC, look at that. Our daily is nearly reset here on Render, and there's two hot zones here for me. There's two big areas that you want to pay attention to. Number one, 5.7, okay, bounce zone number one. If that fails, you're going to 5.2. Now, so I know Chaos tried to send us to 4.8 yesterday, and yes, it is on the table, but fuck me, I don't want to go there. But 5.2, guys, rising trend, 786, horizontal, maybe a wick down there, sure, but you want to get that close above that 5.2, then you should be okay. So 5.7, 5.2, those are your high conviction zones where you should get some kind of bounce on Render. And then in terms of the 12-hour, you can see this thing is getting ready. Okay, it's getting ready. We are nearly there, but it doesn't mean we can't get one more wick down. We can't get one more sell on Render before this kicks in. Now, we have seen this in the past. When we print these things, you sometimes get one more dip. So that is why I'm earmarking 5.7, 5.2. These are the zones. These are the zones where I'm looking to jump into this thing. And I see Chaos says 4.8 and off to the races or hell. No, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Still optimism, feeling so much pain. Guys, you got pain in optimism, or do you want optimism from me? I'm super optimistic, you know. Okay, we can do optimism. That is obviously an ETH flavor play that you need to look out for. So ETH strength, don't worry, optimism will wake up for you. So let's talk Render. And just to cover, this basic setup that we looked at yesterday. So what happened here, and this is now an educational thing for you guys. If you want to learn stuff, obviously, do the accelerator course. Now, I'm going to show you this, and we talk about these things in the Hacker Zoom sessions that I do, and some of the other traders also cover tons of this type of educational content. But here it is. Render lost the 200-day moving average. Okay, nice little move there, drops below. What do you look for? You look for that retest, and you control yourself. You don't get too bullish until it breaks back above that zone. And this was so typical here. Drops down, pushes up. What does it reject off? VWAP, 200-day MA, and our fib, okay, for the rejection. Okay, it's for the entry there. And then lower highs and all the way, and off you go. So that head short is now in place. So it's a beautiful strategy, guys, really. When the market rips green and you get a 10, 15% pump in a couple of tokens, they generally reject at these type of hot zones. And that is where you can either take profit or you can open some kind of hedge play in case the market falls over. And Chaos explained the indicator so well today. Make money, travel, enjoy. She must be in Hackers. That is so cool. I met her in Dubai. What a legend. I'll be in Dubai again, guys, at the next, I think it's the next token 49. We're going to have a get together there. So hopefully we'll see you guys. Yes, sir.
You're getting rinsed on your Ondo short.
Beautiful. That's one short.
Good news, eh?
Yeah, I would have got stopped. Yeah, I would have got stopped on it. Okay, so there we go. So remember, if you're taking speculative shorts or VWAPs and things like that, just run a tight stop just above the high, the rejection high. That is basically where you want to be. So, okay, let's go. Render we covered. Now you know the basics of looking for a short. It's just a retest of a big zone. Here's a couple of others. Now we shorted this dupe, or I shorted this dupe a couple of days ago on that pump on the weekend. And now we know we've had our first rejection, 1.28. So we understand, that zone has already been taken out. You can see if you look at these candles here, look at that rejection candle. We sent that thing all the way down, back down, almost down to that 200-day MA. You can see that rejection there. off a simple 786 and horizontal. Now, this thing is going back. So, in terms of looking for shorts here, if this thing pumps, we've already taken out this region. We've probably cleaned that one out already. So I would just be cautious on take two. I think your higher probability short is going to be this second push now into that 618. So 1.38 is going to be the next potential zone on dupe. So just look out. Remember, this thing's super bullish now. Token burn. What else did they do? They're giving 50% fees. If Sol starts ripping again, dupe starts ripping. So again, this is a hedge play on a big zone, and I'm showing you a big region here. And that 1.38 is an interesting zone for us. You can see to the upside here, there's a lot going on in that region. That 618 it's a macro 618. It's a big deal. Okay, so just look out there. 1.38 could be your next opportunity there on dupe. Okay, enjoy the pump though, if it does. Now, let's talk Solana on the 8 hour. And you've got to be, I mean, if you look at this oscillator, you can see that oscillator looking bullish again, bouncing at the lows. And now, look, showing signs that it wants to churn higher. So my ideal scenario is if we do get a meltdown, we hold the lows again on Sol, and we preferably print higher lows. So, I don't want to see this box. Now, I mean, we know this thing is on the table, this 217 to 210. If you've been watching my show for the last week, you will know that is a massive, massive zone for us there. We don't want to see it, because if Sol goes into that region, it means we've got a hiding on some of our other alts, okay? And if Sol's dropping 10%, we know already, the other guys are going 15, okay? The regulars, okay? 15, 13, 15%, those type of things, and it's going to hurt. I don't even want to know where Popcat and Whiff are going to be. Myro is going to be negative, okay? Literally negative, and it's going to be a mess. So 217 to 210, that's the big one. Leading into FOMC, really just want to hold the low. So right now, 230, you can see that's an interesting area for us, 230. And then if you want to push it down, 223. Don't want to go much lower than 223 there on Sol. Okay, so that is the FOMC Sol dip that I, in a perfect world, want to see. Otherwise, we're getting rinsed. Now, Satoshi, I concur. This virtuals feels like they're going to go to zero now. I think the AI agent narrative seems to be quiet. And look, watch closely, because when we get the resets, it's going to bounce very hard. But I think for now, let's just be careful with those. This price action is disgusting. We are going straight to hell, according to Adam. How bad is disgusting? Let's see. What did Bitcoin hit? These guys, this is properly playing games. Look at these candles. Look at these candles here. There's proper games here. Yeah, it's like proper rinsage here. I mean, this is just expect this into FOMC tomorrow. Don't, like if you're getting chopped up and you're constantly trading here, just it's part and parcel of trying to trade this choppy stuff into FOMC. Remember, the market's kind of waiting. So we want to see a big move up, or we want to see a big move down to give us those high percentage plays there. In between this stuff, it's not pleasant if you're going high leverage. It's not a vibe. Okay, let's go Ton. We haven't spoken about this much lately, and I've got two interesting zones for you. So there's still a lot of news on Ton. Remember, it was the flavor of crypto not too long ago. Then there was all the FUD. The owner got arrested. Then there was information that he was actually sharing, private information with people. He had the keys. I don't know. Yeah, you remember the story. It wasn't great. Okay, and so that brings us to this current situation. Now we remember we had a nice pump. Okay, at the end of the year. This is the 12-hour chart that I'm watching at the moment. And there's a couple of things at play for me, but I wanted to give you two main regions. Now, just like Render, this thing's looking pretty similar for me. So my two zones for potential longs on Ton. 4.77, that's a medium-sized sell-off into FOMC, 4.77. And then the higher conviction play for me is 4.5, 4.6. That is where it's at. Okay, and you can see I've got a divergence print on the 12-hour. This thing is looking like it wants to start turning. So we've got to just let this FOMC move come, whether it's a pump or whether it's a dump, and then we can start reacting accordingly. Why did the likes stop pumping? Said Rid Kids. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, hit the likes, hit the bell. I can't even find my, oh, there it is. Yeah, do this.
Treat the like button like Michael Jackson. Just beat it.
There you go. You know exactly what to do now. Okay, let's go. Jeez, I've always got so much content for you guys. I've got another like 6 charts for you. Okay, let's talk move. World Liberty Finance buys move. And that is now, there was an interesting comment actually underneath. So they bought this thing before. Yeah, I don't know if this is verified, this comment, but it says, World Liberty Finance acquired 73% of Move's circulating supply back in November 24. They had to sell due to regulatory pressure from the SEC's new DeFi guidelines enacted December 15. So, okay, that is the comment there. What does this mean for us? So if you get a news pump that these guys bought this thing, maybe it will get a little bit tired. So the percentage play here for me is to look at some big zones for what feels like an easy short. Okay, it feels like a nice move. Can the market sustain this thing pumping, you know, another, well, let's see how big this is. Can the market sustain this thing going another 15 or another 25% just based on that information? Is that enough information that they bought move? Okay, like, is that enough now to send this thing to Valhalla? I don't know. I don't think so personally. And that is why I think there's a potential short here. Now, shorting on these pumps, it's a little bit tricky. But you can see typically, just like with the longs, they react in interesting zones. So all I did here was use my prime blocks. You can see we had a reaction off of VWAP and my prime blocks here in the way. And there was quite a big sell-off initially. Now, there's a potential short that I'm pretty interested in here at 9.5 to about 97. This region here, that is our macro 618. This is my prime blocks at the highs. And for me, by the time we pumped another 20%, you're probably going to see your oscillator printing divergences. You're probably going to see this thing printing lower highs like that. And then you're going to see the price printing higher highs into that zone. And we're going to then look to ladder into some kind of short in that region. So it will be a low leverage ladder in play there for me. You might see consolidation in that zone. You might see a bit of chop like that and then bang. And then this thing should come down and start taking out that candle. So that is going to be the game plan there, unless something extra bullish comes out now on the news. But I mean, fuck, all they did was buy the token. Okay, so cool. Okay, that is that. That is my game plan. This chart will be in Hackers for you guys if you want to take a look. But 95 to about 97 looks like a potential rejection zone. If that 618 behaves like this guy did, then I think we get a nice entry on that W on move. Okay, Sui users will soon be able to perform internet list transactions via SMS. It feels like we're going back into the dinosaur ages here, using SMS. I mean, isn't that like GSM or whatever they call it? Louis said, what about my XRP comment? What's wrong with XRP? What's wrong? What is he talking about?
He thinks that I'm deleting XRP comments. Apparently, he's not watched the show before. We do not delete XRP comments on this show.
Louis, this man.
I love XRP.
He loves XRP, bro.
I think there's something wrong with your computer, bro.
Okay, James loves XRP. Okay, so Sui is now, you can do internet list transactions. Okay, I mean, that's cool. But, Sui as a whole, I haven't enjoyed the look of the chart. Yeah, I just haven't enjoyed that. Okay, so, I mean, maybe we're going to get something along these lines at some point on Sui. So I'm not loving the way it looks at the moment, but there are opportunities to play bounces. And you can see, just highlighting again, and I think we covered this one yesterday, but just highlighting again, Sui here, there's an opportunity for a bullish bounce. Look at this thing. Look at this thing on the 12 hour. That thing is screaming some kind of reversal there for us. Then we are looking at the 8 hour as well. Let's look at this thing. And you can see here, this 8 hour is, it's looking like it wants to start pushing a little bit higher. So my goal here for Sui is obviously to hold the 3.5. We don't want to print new lows, but you can see I've got that macro 382. I've got my prime order block as well. So any dips into that zone makes sense to me, especially based on the way these oscillators are sitting now so low, getting primed for some kind of bounce. So for me, I'm looking for upside on Sui. I want to see this thing higher. If we get a dip into FOMC, I'm looking for buys here. Anything down, anything from 3.58 down to 3.43, anywhere in that region should give you something to work with on Sui. And then you're not going to get too aggressive. I mean, we know Sui will pump when the market decides to recover. And you don't have to get too, you don't have to get too greedy. But you're going to look at 4.2. You're going to look at 4.65. You can see that's a big zone. And you can also see your 50-day MA in that region. So playing for something along those lines. Remember, if we do melt down into the FOMC, If we bleed into FOMC, my strategy is going to be to grab a ton of entries, and then we're going to pump a few and we're going to close a ton of those that start pushing higher. Then we're going to keep some open and try and grow them and try and really make them big size. And then we're going to look at a couple where we can grab a few hedge shorts. Okay, so three-pronged approach here into the FOMC if we do get a bleed out. The market reminds me of the desert, hot during the day, cold during the night. Okay, guys, let's go. Ripple and Ondo. Fuck, I can't believe how much we talk about Ripple. Ripple and Ondo are bringing OUSG, tokenized US treasuries. I mean, that is big news. To be fair, that is big news. Okay.
Huge.
I mean, it's huge. Okay, so here's my Ondo trade. James, I'm happy I got stopped on that other Ondo position. Look at this thing. It's grinding now. Okay, so that is nice. Virtual's doing fuck all, guys. Okay, so that's obviously not the place to be at the moment, but Ondo finally looking nice. So I'm trading this one on 𝗬𝗥. Guys, remember, all these exchanges that I'm talking about here are in the show description. Go under there. There's no KYC on 𝗬𝗥. Plus, there's tons of offers on 𝗬𝗥. Like you sign up, you get a bonus. You register your email address, you get a bonus. Just read their description as to what they're giving you. But there are sign-up bonuses there. There's tons happening on 𝗬𝗥, and obviously there's no KYC there at the moment. So let's talk Ondo, and we're going to bring James back because he's keep riding that XRP to you. We're going to bring him back for the XRP chart because I want to quiz him on how much squeaky bum time he had. I want to ask him a question just now. Okay, so where do we go with Ondo? What is the plan? Now, bullish news obviously out there at the moment. This is Ondo on the 12-hour, and you can see this thing is nice, but it's under major resistance. So a little bit concerning, okay? And that is why I also opened that hedge short on that VWAP, because look at this. We've got some kind of bearish divergence here as well on my oscillator, and that could be playing out a little bit more potentially. Okay, so I saw that VWAP as an opportunity to bang out some kind of short-term move there. So could be still on the table. This is the daily that you're going to be looking at. So in terms of the daily chart, your big resistance is this 1.5. So the next big move for Ondo comes after 1.5. So you've got to get through 1.5. So enjoy this pump now, whatever it might be. Okay, call it whatever you want. But the big move is got to be after we clear that guy. Okay, so in terms of that divergence you're seeing on the daily chart, that thing could still push up. Okay, and we could bang into that 1.5, and then this thing could start falling over. So that is on the table as another potential short opportunity at that 1.5. So you can see here, VWAP rejection, horizontals here. Now it's cooking again. I would say, guys, danger up here. Okay, there, 1.5. To 1.54, somewhere there. That looks like a trouble zone for me, but that looks nice on the 2-hour. Okay, that looks really nice. You'll look for that divergence as well. So you might see the price going higher, and then it might reject. So you'll look for the price going higher, oscillator going lower, and that could give you a sign at major resistance that it's going to fall over. Okay, so there's Ondo for you guys. Let's just talk current supports. If you're sitting in this thing, what you want to do is, and I know James is freshly in this thing, so I would say close under 1.35 is a problem for you. So you really just want to hold 1.35. If that candle dips below that, you can see quite clearly that is 2-hour horizontal support and trend. If you close under that, most likely turning a little bit bearish on you. So 1.35 is pretty much your safest exit plan there for you on Ondo. Then let's talk XRP. Now, there was another rumor going on, and I don't know if this is true. Okay, Chaos, this is actually Chaos's fault. He dropped this in the newsroom. There's a newsroom on Banter Bubbles. Look here. The newsroom on Banter Bubbles, and some of the best researchers in crypto are dropping information all day long. Okay, you might occasionally see a couple of posts from me, and I saw today Chaos dropped that tweet in the newsroom. So let's open that thing up, and it says Ash Crypto says Ripple and the civil actions against it have been deleted from the US SEC website. Is the lawsuit against XRP over? If true, giga bullish. Do you concur?
I saw this as well today too, that how come it doesn't show up on the website all of a sudden? And I mean, there is so much stuff going on with Ripple right now, with Trump and this Ondo, and they're talking to them about reserve, and this massive fight online between Bitcoin maxis and XRP maxis fighting over the wording of this strategic stockpile. That it's hilarious watching the back and forth there between everybody fighting about it, because the Bitcoiners are pissed that it didn't say Bitcoin only. The XRP people are like, why can't it be multiple tokens? And XRP actually has some utility to do with banking, so it makes sense. And the fight there is hilarious.
It's never going to make sense. Okay. Did you absolutely shit yourself? And did you nearly close some of your position when XRP dumped 15% the other day? Answer quickly.
No. I've got such a good entry that was no big deal. That was just another adding opportunity.
Okay. Just I had to ask because I mean, if you're so far up in a trade and it suddenly capitulates 15%, it's interesting. Okay, it does things to the mind.
It was a lot worse when it went to that 195 or so. I was sweating there because my entry at that point was 175 or so.
Okay, now that's enough to put you under pressure. Look, I had that with Sol a couple of times. My Sol long actually went negative at some point. So yeah, I know the feeling. Okay, let's go XRP. So I don't want to get too excited about this thing, because there is news on it and things like that, but your big zone, and if I had to pick an area here, look at this. 2 hour is getting overcooked here. Let's look at the 1 hour quickly. I want to try and give you guys an entry on this thing, and that could tie in quite nicely. So you can see on the 1 hour we're already getting a little bit of divergence there. So you can see the price is going up, the oscillator is starting to push a little bit lower. Okay, so it is printing a lower high there at the moment, and my US banking insider said XRP equals Ferrari soon. Oh my god. James must be very happy with that. Okay, so in terms of where this thing is gonna go, I wouldn't jump into this here. Okay, from a chart, you can't jump into this here. Okay, if you're crazy, you jump into it and then it pumps. That's great. But like from a charts perspective, I can only give you this, guys. 2.99. That is the zone. You can see the VWAP here pushing up, the 382, the horizontals in play. That makes the most sense for me. So 2.99 is the first place for me to look for a potential bounce on XRP, and that would make sense. And we're not going to get aggressive here. You're looking at 3.35 as your potential play. So it's simple. Look for that pullback, nice dip into FOMC, 2.993, and then look for longs there. Yeah, Ray, I see that Binance being investigated about money laundering. And I saw that headline today, and I'm tired of Binance news. But it is what it is. And then another one I've been keeping my eyes on is the ZIG chain. Now, this is a layer one. There's all sorts of trading going on here as well. They've also just launched a card. So this is ZIG chain, okay? And ZIG. And they've launched a card here, and you can pay, you can swipe, you can do all your things with this guy. And I see they've also integrated Melania and Trump into their payments. Okay, so apparently if you're putting that there, then you can use your Trump meme coins to start paying. So interesting range play here happening on this guy. So I just thought, let's bring this to your attention. This could be something of interest here, as long as we're playing some good areas. So you can see there's a strong range here, and those of you that like range trading, there could be something coming here in terms of a push into that zone. There could be a nice short for you. Alternatively, you can see when we are dipping into these types of zones here and this trend, we are getting nice moves, and they're pretty substantial moves here. That range is 36%, and it could be something on the table. Right now, this thing is now under that 200-day moving average. It's under the 50-day MA. So ideally, you want to see this thing start closing above these regions to start turning bullish, and then you're going to look for that push into that zone, and then you most likely get some kind of range play short out of this guy. So watching this one, okay, could be something you want to get on your radar. Current price here, 114. I would say watch your big level here, 1007 to the downside. That's the big one. But really what you want to watch, you got to reclaim 200, you got to reclaim 50, and then you're looking for that push into 138. So that could be an interesting one there on ZIG coin. Okay, that is ZIG USDT. Now let's talk Brett. And is it? Okay, are you allowed to call a bottom on a meme coin? Okay, are you allowed to?
There are no bottoms anymore. Period. Until you get to zero, there's no bottoms on any of these shit coins.
This is so bad. It's like the whiff chart, guys. Look, the whiff chart looks worse than this, to be fair. Okay, so Brett on the 3-day. What is my strategy? Okay, my strategy is double bottom here into FOMC if we bleed out. Okay, if there's a hawkish FOMC, we probably fucked. The market is going to sell off everything, okay, if there's a hawkish. So I'd be very surprised if they were hawkish on that FOMC, considering Trump pressure. Now, remember, they act independently. They can't theoretically do that. But like if Uncle is putting pressure there, maybe, something can happen. So I'd be very surprised if they're super hawkish and, the market really starts capitulating, but anything can happen. So in terms of my first prize, what I want to see on Brett, anything down to 72.71. This is a 3-day level. You can see this is a massive area for us, and that first reaction was pretty strong. Now, the previous time we had a reaction on the zone, look at that. We dipped into that and we rocketed off that 3-day level. Okay, so that is obviously a little bit of hopium there, but 71 is what I want to see. Then backup levels, guys. You need your backup levels always in case there is a meltdown. 62 is going to be your next one. 622 and then 55. Okay, did I just say 55 on Brett? Now, this weekly, the 3-day is getting super reset as well. So that is looking interesting there. Let's look at the daily and try and get a picture as to what's going on there. So that daily is also looking heavily oversold. Again, doesn't mean it can't go lower, but those are the big levels. We've got divergence on the 12-hour, looking for something to happen there as well on Brett. So hanging on for now. Let's see. Head short is in play, and the big levels are 71, 62, call it 623, and then 55. 55. Okay, let's go 𝗬𝗓𝗡. Again, if you want to be long 𝗬𝗓𝗡, these are your zones. Okay, these are your DCA zones. And Suzu says, we're probably fucked. Don't be on the bush. Well, we are. Okay, we are. And then all that hard work looking for head shorts actually pays off a little bit for you guys. Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗡, 13. Okay, you can see this is a major weekly level here. If the market's going to bounce, this thing holds. If not, we're bleeding down. Get ready. Get your buys at 8, 7.5. Get them ready for the capitulation. The next capitulation, that is where 𝗬𝗓𝗡 is going to bounce, 8 to 7.5. And I think we were up here when I spoke about that level on my show. And some of the guys weren't happy. We were here.
Is this a meme coin?
It's behaving.
It looks like one. The chart looks just like the rest of the meme coins.
It's just, if you look at this wedge, it looks so obvious that it's coming to 8. It just looks like it stinks.
It does.
Okay?
It makes sense that it's going to go to that level. It really does.
I'm actually going to put this here for you guys. Sell the hamster. Haven't said that in a while. Okay, that's where you sell the hamster. Okay, I mean, I wonder how bearish we'll be if it actually gets.
Who's buying at that level though? Are we at $8?
I'm buying at $8. Okay.
Okay.
we'll make it work. Okay,
I'll watch how your trade progresses. I'm not touching that.
I'm going to buy on at least 10x. Okay. Like nice size at $8. Okay, call it 8 to 7.5. We'll ladder in there. Okay. Yeah, but it looks like an absolute dog show, guys. Really does. Cass, look, it's here. I clicked on it by accident, but while it's here, let's talk about it. Here's your level, 108. That's what you're watching. That's your macro. It's not even a macro trend. You can see we've got a rising trend there in play, and it's going to take out some of that liquidity if there is downside. Look at this nice candle. Okay, it just makes sense. They come and take this candle out here. So for me, 108. Cass, that's a zone for you guys. Okay, there we go. That is that. You can see I'm kind of leaning towards a bleed out into FOMC. Now, what I don't want to see is a pump into FOMC because traditionally we've seen if it pumps in the FOMC, then we tend to get disappointed afterwards. So if we do pump into FOMC from current levels, you're sitting in longs. All I can say is head shorts at resistance. Take profit on a couple, and we'll reassess, obviously, tomorrow. We're going to trade that FOMC live on Crypto Live, and in my show at the normal time, I will have you guys covered as well leading into that. So you'll have plenty of prep, okay? And by then, by showtime tomorrow, we'll have an understanding or a rough understanding as what the market is doing, and then we can start planning properly as to what we're going to do. Okay, I'm out of here. See you guys later.